Viewers, officially, according to the encyclopedia, about 40% of India's population speaks Hindi, or it's one of its dialects. But you and me know that more understand or speak this language across the country. Hindi evolved from Sanskrit, the mother of most languages, not just in India, but across the globe. From Tawang to Thane, from Baramulla to Bengaluru. Arguably, more people speak Hindi than English today.
Yes, and that's the truth. So when some elements decide to erase Hindi from signages on the Namma metro in Bengaluru, one wonders what the fuss is all about. And then emerges this political twist: imposition. The government is forcing Hindi upon us. Is that true? Or have certain sections conveniently latched on to this narrative just because the current disposition believes that Hindi is a unifying language in India, preferable over English, a colonial remnant?
A signboard outside a metro station in Bengaluru, displaying the name of the station in English and Kannada. A stark contrast to how these boards were displayed when the metro service was launched. As anti-Hindi protests have split the city, with activists questioning the need for Hindi signboards.
It seems like the BMRCL has given into the mounting pressure from pro-Kannada activists and several citizens of Bengaluru, where they protested against the signboards and notifications and even announcements made in Hindi. We're standing here outside the Nada Prabhu Kempegowda metro station, or rather known as the Majestic metro station, where you can see the signboard in Hindi, which has been plastered. Now this can be seen in a few other metro stations in Bengaluru.
Namma metrodalli namge Hindi ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು ಹಿಂದಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಭಾಷೆ ಏನಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡನೂ ಸಹ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಭಾಷೆ. ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಭಾಷೆಯಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅದರ ನಡುವೆ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಿಂದಿಯನ್ನ ಹೇರೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ವಿರೋಧಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ.
On the basis of language, I don't think it's a matter to be even fought with. English and Hindi, that is very mandatory. Come on, we are Indians. We need Hindi.
The Congress government in the state is clearly not impressed, shooting off a notice to the metro authorities, questioning the three-language rule being followed, alleging that rules are being bent.
With elections around, I think there is nothing but using language as a very volatile tool. It is a three-language formula which has been accepted all over India, which was in fact instituted by Jawaharlal Nehru, whose party rules Karnataka. Now to make these kind of minor excuses and create unnecessary division in society is very unfortunate.
While the BMRCL has maintained that the metro has been built as a joint venture between the centre and the state, and that's why it's necessary to put in Hindi signboards. Why is this sudden move of plastering coming in is the big question at this point in time. While the activists and several people who have been staging a protest of Namma metro Hindi beta, they claim that in a city like Bengaluru there are people who talk various languages, and what is the necessity of just emphasizing on Hindi?
The Chief Minister has waded into the debate, clarifying that Hindi is not the national language and the present move is an effort to forcibly impose Hindi by the centre. A stand similar to what parties in Tamil Nadu adopted a few months ago. The rules regarding metro signboards are clear, with the centre notification laying down the three-language rule, but not all are convinced.
One side that keep talking Hindi is Rashtra Bhasha and everybody should study Hindi and for the progress of the country. It is a kind of imposition of one language on the entire country, which is being resisted.
In Karnataka, Kannada should be the top priority, no doubt about it. But it doesn't mean you can impose everything on other language. People who cannot speak Kannada should not be imposed like this.
It has always been asked, what's in a name? As poll season approaches in Karnataka, it looks like there's a lot in a name, especially if it's written in Hindi. Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Well, we want this to be extremely interactive, viewers, so our phone lines are open. You can call in, share your views. Is this Hindi Halla really necessary? What do you think of it? Why should the debate over imposition come when the local language is right there on top, being given the top priority before Hindi and English really come in? Also, you can log on to our platform on Involve, leave your comments there. We'll try and address most of the comments. If you have anything specific to say to any of our panelists or a question, put it there and we'll try and put it across to our panelists, and you can interact with them live as we do this debate. Let's say good evening to our guest this evening, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Rakesh Sinha, RSS ideologue, joining us from Noida, Sumansi Raman, political analyst, joining us from Chennai this evening, a Sarvanan spokesperson from the DMK, and Tara Krishnaswamy, also joining us from Bengaluru. Tara, let me come to you first and try and understand where you stand on this debate. There were just a couple of metro stations, we understand, where it first began, where these activists came and they tried covering the part that spoke in Hindi, leaving the Kannada and the English part there. But then the government, the state, seems to have also given in, or rather decided to play politics over it. Where do you stand on this debate?
Yeah, see, the history of this is something that's worth knowing before we pass judgment on this. In 2009, when the first model metro was showcased in MG Road, all it had was Hindi and English. There was no Kannada. At that time, when the inquiry was made by concerned passengers, they were assured that when the metro was launched, Kannada would be included. In 2011, when it was launched, again there was only Hindi and English. And there were a lot of irate passengers, and they actually wrote to the BMRCL, questioned the BMRCL about not having Kannada. And at that time they were told, well, this is the policy, this is what we've been instructed to do. RTIs were filed, and they revealed that that was not the policy. There was no compulsion to use Hindi. It's still unknown as to why they feel compelled to do so. We have to remember that the three-language formula applies to government education, government institutions, ministries,
sure, that's about the rules.
Offices.
That's about the rules, Tara, sure. And I understand, right. And I understand if somebody wanted to raise an issue when the local language was not included in the signages, of course there will be people who don't know English or Hindi in Bengaluru or any other part of our country. But what is the problem when all three languages, when it is a trilingual board? In a metropolitan, in a cosmopolitan city like Bengaluru.
That was the starting point.
Yes.
That was the starting point. Now, subsequently, Kannada has been included, okay? Nevertheless, it is not uniform. There are many stations where you can go inside where you see signages only in Hindi, not even in English. These are various instructions like who you can approach to talk to about somebody. These are just boards that the BMRCL has. Not names of stations, that's not what I'm referring to, not the ticket, but there are various signages only in Hindi by the BMRCL inside the metro stations. So basically the fundamental approach is, even though it is in a state where Hindi is not the language, native language that is spoken, and this is a state subject, and this is 80% funded by the state government, on what basis are Hindi signages?
So then how does it become an imposition by the center? Tara, how does it become an imposition by the center? I stand strongly for local language to be promoted. Your local language should be priority. Kannada needs to be there in Karnataka, Tamil needs to be there in Tamil Nadu. But why have an opposition with the language that is spoken by most people across the country, that is Hindi? Sudhanshu Trivedi ji, does the center decide? Has the center told the metro, Namma metro? Has the center told the metro constructions that you're going to put Hindi everywhere?
Whatever point she's raising, I'm not aware about that, but she's adding a valid point. That if there is any project in any state, there should be a signboard part which should be in the local language. There is no problem about it. But my question is, what is the logic behind putting a black paint on Hindi? Reason being, I just want to ask. Now Bangalore is considered as the emerging intellectual capital of India. Now those who are saying that one of the main language of India, which is spoken by more than 50% and understood by almost 80% of the Indians, and the emerging intellectual capital of India should not have even a signature of that language, it means they want to keep Bangalore confined to their local identity, and they do not want Bangalore to grow to what its real potential is. Now when it is having the software hub, Definitely there will be a huge number of North Indian software students who will not be well versed about what this Kannada signboard is saying. As far as English is concerned, yes, of course I agree that the most of the people understand English, but if I ask, even in today, I think properly understanding English will be not more than 10% in entire India. So in my opinion, this is definitely a pure sheer politics, and it has nothing to do with present government. I would just like to remind you one fact.
They seem to be pointing the fingers at you,
pre-independence era, who was the first leader who has propagated this idea that Hindi should be the national language?
But in every non-Hindi state, Sudhanshu Trivedi, they seem to be pointing fingers at you. If you ask Sarunan right now, his party and his party chief has continuously been blaming the BJP.
Let me complete my sentence.
Yes, go ahead.
I am coming to that point. Let me complete my sentence. Then my friend from the other party can answer.
Yes.
Do you know who was the first leader who has promulgated the idea that Hindi should be the national language? It was Lokman Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who was Marathi. Then subsequently it was Mahatma Gandhi, who was Gujarati. The first book written in Hindi was Satyarth Prakash by Swami Dayanand Saraswati, who was Gujarati. In the Constituent Assembly, it was supported by Shama Prasad Mukherjee, who was Bengali, M. Gopala Swami Iyengar, who was Tamil, and M. Kanhaiyalal Maniklal Munshi, who was Marathi. But unfortunately, the politics of Congress, in which Jawaharlal Nehru opposed it. So the entire idea came from non-Hindi speaking state. This was not a political issue,
no,
but
Tara believes you're cooking up facts
because of some local regional considerations, which was initiated by linguistic states created by Congress, problem created.
Trivedi ji, Tara Krishnaswamy says you're cooking up facts, so let her rebut that and then we'll open it up to our other panelists.
And figures.
I'm not cooking a fact. Our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, speaks Hindi everywhere. He is a non-Hindi speaking state. He is a person from non-Hindi speaking state. So it is not the question of imposing.
Sir, you're wearing... Okay, so may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're wearing a mic. You don't need to yell. I can hear you. As far as the figures are concerned, the census figures say about 26% speak Hindi natively and 40% know Hindi. So where the 80% is coming from, I have no idea.
You didn't hear him out correctly. Tara, you didn't hear him out. Tara, you didn't hear him out. What he said was about 50% today, about 50% because the census data you're quoting is from 2001. What he's saying in 2017, about 50% speak Hindi, about 80% understand Hindi. That is what he said.
I want to know where the source is.
Anand, I want to respond her.
Yeah, okay, Rakesh Sinha wants to come in. Yeah, Rakesh Sinha, come in.
Take into account the population of UP, Bihar,
Rakesh Sinha wants to come in, Sumansi Raman, Sarvanan, they all want to come in. So, let's just open this up before I place my arguments. Yes, Rakesh Sinha.
She has raised a very pertinent question. Before coming to that, my one observation is, look, there is no dichotomy between Hindi and any Indian languages. All languages are very important. And I am quoting a very important document, which you might be unaware. There was a Kapil Kapoor committee formed by this government itself on languages, and Kapil Kapoor committee has identified 5 languages as resource languages of India. That is not one Hindi. You can't blame BJP, you can't blame RSS, you can't blame Hindutva for all these things. We believe in diversity. These languages are Old Tamil, Prakrit, Pali, Avesta. Avesta is a Parsi language. Very few people speak, but that are resource languages. And Sanskrit. So I'm coming to now the point, you raised only 25% people speak Hindi. You might be right as a census data. But there is a institute, Central Institute of Indian Languages. It is placed in Mysore, you might be knowing. Its first president was Devi Prasad Patnaik, and a very famous person was his president was Hansraj Dua. He has surveyed, and in that survey there is intelligibility. Intelligibility means how many people understand Hindi or can directly or indirectly somehow speak Hindi. In 1970s, the data was 62%. Now the estimate is 80%. So it's not a question of how many people speak. And expansion of Hindi, propagation of Hindi, is not means imposition of Hindi. Who can suppress Kannada? It is one of the richest language of India. I am quoting one novelist, Vairappa's novel, Avran.
Yeah.
It was translated in Hindi. It is a hot sell in Hindi belt. So we are nobody is against any Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu. These are all rich languages of India.
I think, Tara,
there is no dichotomy between the two.
Yes, Mr. Sinha, let me just take it across to our other panelists. And we need to take some phone calls also. So we're going to quickly move around and let everybody make some points, basic points. Yes, Sumansi Raman, very quickly to you and then to Saravanan. And I want to just move beyond the census and the data now to talk about what it really is about. And whether it's just come down to parochial politics one more time. Yes, Sumansi Raman. Where is the imposition?
Majoritarianism.
Where is the imposition?
This is about majoritarianism.
Sumansi Raman, where is the imposition?
What is majoritarianism?
Who is imposing it on you?
What is majoritarianism?
Sumansi Raman, who is imposing it on you? If in your state, please listen to my question.
Look,
if in your state there is a board with 3 languages, including the native language, why is it imposition? Why is it imposition? I don't see Gujaratis or Punjabis. I don't see Gujaratis, Punjabis objecting over it.
Gujarati is not suppressed.
How is it
BJP
imposition?
has a Gujarati Prime Minister and a Gujarati Party President.
Let us speak.
Both of them speak Hindi. Rajgopalachari was from Hindi belt. He was one of the persons who was for the propagation of Hindi.
Rakesh Sinha, please.
Hindi is emerging as a lingua franca in a very natural way.
Rakesh Sinha, please. Let Sumansi Raman speak. Let him speak. Let him make his point.
Anand, please answer my question.
What is your question? Kindly put your question in a very forthright manner.
Why are you? Yeah, you're not allowing me to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Please answer my question. Why are you issuing passports in Hindi to a person in Tamil Nadu when he cannot read
No
Hindi?
passport is in Hindi. Passport is in 2 languages, English and Hindi. Passport is in 2 languages, English and Hindi.
From where you got the information?
Wait a minute.
Don't feed wrong information.
Why can't you say?
You are.
Hang on.
Don't be a rumor monger on TV channel.
Hang on.
Don't be a rumor monger.
No, hang on. See.
This was announced.
1 second.
In all the Indian languages.
No, what was written? What was
Issue in all the
announced?
languages.
Please. The passport is in
What
English.
was it about?
Passport is in English and in Hindi. Passport is in English and in Hindi. Sumansi Raman, why don't you stand here today? Why don't you stand here today and say people from Tamil Nadu?
Don't mislead the viewer.
What do you mean?
Misleading the viewer.
What is misleading the viewer?
In Hindi.
What is misleading the viewer?
Only the title headings
Who
are
is
in Hindi.
Who is misleading the viewer?
Minister.
What is your problem if it is in Hindi? Sumansi Raman, are you not part of India? Why do you have a problem if it is in Hindi? Why do you have a problem if it is in Hindi? But you are ready to stick to what has been imposed on us 300 years ago? You still hold on to a colonial mindset and elitist mindset that speaking in English is elitist, speaking in English is revolt. Why do you do that? Why do you do that, Sumansi Raman? Why do you do that, Sumansi Raman? Don't do that, Sumansi Raman. Let's bring it. No, Saravanan of the DMK. Saravanan has not spoken. Saravanan.
Which is suppressing the Indian language.
Saravanan. When rest of India can embrace 3 languages. Please tell me. When rest of India can embrace 3 languages, if Tamil Nadu does not, aren't you being exclusive rather than being inclusive? Are you actually being integral to India, or are you being exclusive? Why are you doing that? Tamil is important, sir, as much as any other Indian language. You disrespect Hindi by saying I will not take Hindi, but I will hold on to the coattails of a British remnant of the Raj, that is English. Why do you do that?
English is the language of the world.
Yes, Anand,
Hindi is the language of our country, sir. अरे दुनिया का language याद है, देश का language भूल गए. दुनिया का language याद है, देश का language भूल गए. Sir, now Tamil pesana you like it, but if you speak Hindi, a lot of people will also like it. So don't make it an ego issue. Yes, Saravanan. Yes, Saravanan, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes. See, Hindi is not our national language. It is one
the
of the
official language.
Languages. So no special status
it is the official language. You may use. Other people may use whatever term, Mr. Saravanan. It is still the official language for any government purposes.
Yes.
Saravanan ji.
Did anybody, Mr. Saravanan?
Yes.
Rakesh Sir, one
That
second.
does not apply to.
So far on this panel,
because
Mr. Saravanan,
the official language rules exempts state of Tamil Nadu from using Hindi.
Why?
The official languages.
Why are you excluded?
State of Tamil Nadu.
Why are you so special and why are you excluded? Why should you create such a huge hue and cry? It's because you try and be exclusive that more people don't speak Tamil today. It's because you try and be exclusive that more people don't speak Tamil in the country. Had you been inclusive, more people would have spoken Tamil, sir, because more people would have understood what our culture is.
Resourceful languages. Language are not the means of communication only in India. Language are...
Okay, we need to take some callers.
We have common culture.
Please hold on to that point. Please hold on to that point. I'll come back to you in just a bit. Yes, I'll come back to you in just a bit. There's some callers who have been patiently waiting, man. As they do that, Saravanan, think about this. What happened when the 9th report of the Committee of Parliament on Official Language proposed Hindi compulsory in CBSE schools till class 10th? And Stalin came out and said, I urge PM Modi's government to give up these efforts of sidelining non-Hindi speaking citizens. I condemn the efforts taken so far. You know when this panel worked on it and made these suggestions and submitted it?
Yes.
During UPA's tenure. When DMK was a part of and an ally of UPA, and Mr. Chidambaram was part of this panel. So I don't understand the selective outrage that your party is showing today. If anything, it's just to make yourself relevant today again. You can go back to that rhetoric of imposition when there is no imposition in place. There is no imposition that is even being witnessed right now.
You rightly exposed him.
Yes, Deepak is on the phone line.
He doesn't have any answer for your question.
Deepak from Bengaluru is calling. Deepak is from Bengaluru. Let's see what he wants to say. Deepak, is it really a problem if a signboard on a metro station speaks 3 languages?
By a committee of the...
Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
Let our caller speak. Let's listen in, panelists. Yes. Go ahead, Deepak. Good evening.
Good evening to Tanvi and Anand Narasimhan.
Good evening. Please, go ahead.
See, I have been staying in Bangalore for the last 40 years. I will tell you, I don't know whoever has removed Hindi from the metro. I think the government of Karnataka has done a knee-jerk reaction today. Because we have several North Indians and several people from the Northeast coming and staying in Bangalore and contributing to the growth of Bangalore. And let's face it, you like it or not, I want to tell Mr. Suman Sriraman, guys, please understand, Hindi is our national language. You have to accept it. Nobody is imposing Hindi on us.
The Constitution
we have to understand, I am representing a common man and I am not actually, having any agenda when I am talking to you. Please, guys, understand, there has to be 3 languages. Because Kannadigas have to understand Kannada, they have to go through, read Kannada. English, there are many people who understand English. English is also a unifying language. How much ever the British Raj has left, we have a hangover of that. But guys, please understand, I think, don't mistake me, Tanvi and Anand, many panelists who come on your channels or various channels, they have several agendas. They don't represent the true common man of this country. I'm sorry to say this.
Well, Deepak, I have to interrupt you. Thank you for calling in. Respect your point of view, Suman Sriraman. We'll address it in just... It's okay. You listen. Please understand. Panelists, please understand. Our viewers are listening to you very carefully and they're forming opinions. You can respond to them once we take a few more calls. Just getting our next caller in. Good evening. Go ahead, please. Pranay from Kolkata. Yes, Pranay. Hi. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Anand sir, good evening. I am actually from Kolkata and I am a Bengali. See, the main thing here is that Hindi is a national language. Our national song Vande Mataram is written in Hindi. So Hindi is not being imposed on anyone. And on the other hand, why should we even be ashamed of speaking Hindi? Firstly. Second point is that what message are we giving to the outside world that we are promoting these forms of regionalism? I mean, this is the worst form of politics that a government can do. Given the fact that these politicians have actually engaging in this cheap vote bank politics. Because the elections are near. Thirdly, this not only promotes hatred among people, but also shows that what kind of low mentality these politicians have. And my humble request to those panelists is that please do not enter this type of politics.
Right. Pranay, thanks for calling in. Our next caller, Tanvi.
Yes, we've got Suman Sriraman, just 30 more seconds. Here is a caller from your city, Suman Sriraman. Let's listen to Mr. Kamesh calling us on the phone line right now.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Where do you stand?
Hello, good evening, madam.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Anand.
Good evening.
Sorry, I got disconnected in the morning. I'm really surprised to see the views of Suman Sriraman from Chennai. I don't think there's anything wrong in having Hindi over in Chennai. See, all these VAPs, the so-called VAPs in Chennai and in Bangalore, their sons, their grandsons, granddaughters are all studying in CBSE with Hindi over here. But they make total politics over this. and we want our Tamil language to be set up individually as a separate institute.
Correct.
So for that it is okay. But see, if there's anything wrong, if the Hindi name of the station is put on top and then Tamil is put second line, it is fine.
Well, absolutely. Kamesh, thank you for calling us. Your point noted. We're going to quickly put it across to Sumansi Raman because two of the callers directly addressed him.
Yeah.
Sumansi Raman, I think the differentiation that our viewers are making is what you're failing to see, that this is not imposition.
1 minute.
This is a choice.
No, 1 minute.
Go ahead.
The idea is, entire concept is, the views of the majority can be imposed on the minority. We are more in number. More people speak Hindi, so those who don't speak Hindi...
or is the idea, Sumansi Raman, or is the idea that just because this is coming from the majority, it must be opposed?
No.
Is it the idea that just because it is coming from the majority, it should be opposed?
Nowhere in the
fact of the matter is that he is trying to propagate that the minuscule minority, that is 2% people.
Now the fact is, wait, Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Over the 98% majority.
Yes, Sudhanshu Trivedi. Yeah.
One thing. Whatever he is trying to propagate, a minuscule minority, which is just 2% of the people who speak English
2%.
fluently, they should prevail over 98%. And what Rakesh Sinha is saying,
not at all. I mean, we are
the
not
biggest damage is being done to the regional schools by English language. Hindi language schools are not witnessing the loss of students.
Sir, my point is, Sumansi Raman,
let me come.
Sumansi Raman and
I was not interrupting when you were speaking.
Yeah, Sudhanshu ji. Yeah.
One more thing. I was not interrupting when he was speaking.
Yeah.
Anand, one sentence. I would just like to give one example. A recent movie, Bahubali 2. When it was made in Hindi, it's a 2,000 crore business. If it would have been only in Telugu and Tamil, I think it would be hardly 200 crore business. There is a huge talent in every region of India which should come out to the national and international level. But because of your menial,
let me also say, Sudhanshu Trivedi, in the same way. Let me also say, sir. No, Sudhanshu Trivedi, let me also say, sir. Let me also say, sir, that most of the. Let me also say, Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, that there are many people from North India who have gone to South India and made a career for themselves. So let's not say North versus South, because that's not going to happen. Because एक बात मैं आपको कह दूं और आपको मानना पड़ेगा कि नहीं जी मैं मानता हूं. I understand. I'm saying it in a lighter way, and please take it in that spirit.
Punjabi and Marathi.
नहीं, I'm saying it in a lighter way.
So it has become a national.
As I go to Saravanan, sir, I agree with you. I agree that the language that is most commonly understood across the country, with no disrespect to any local language, I believe, sir, every local language needs to be spoken. Every person needs to know and speak their mother tongue. They need to read, write and learn their mother tongue. That's the only way our culture, the diversity is going to be preserved. And secondly, we need to know, speak and understand the language which is most commonly understood across the country. Whether or not it's called a national language is not my prerogative. What is a common unifying language across this country? That is Hindi right now, not English. That's my point of view. Secondly, sir, एक बात है Saravanan, which we have to also admit, that we South Indians, sir, can pick up Hindi faster than any North Indian can pick up a South Indian language, and that's a reality. So let's give them the benefit of doubt or disadvantage there, and let us pick up English. Let us pick up Hindi faster, because it's a common bond. It's something which allows us to communicate. Sir, because
we don't want to do that.
Yes, Saravanan, go ahead.
You're going to give me a chance.
Yes, Saravanan, go ahead.
A chance to speak.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Yeah. See, Mr. Sudhanshu is speaking with a typical arrogance of that majoritarianism, which we don't approve of. If you go back to history, the main reason the Madras presidency joined the Indian Union is that Hindi will not be made as a national language. That was the prime most condition. If you want me to quote,
Hindi is not a national language.
He said, quote,
I know that fact, sir. I know that fact.
Yes.
I know that fact, but you also know very well Hindi is not the national language. But you also know very well, Saravanan, today. Saravanan, please understand, sir. Saravanan, please understand, sir. Saravanan, sir, please understand. Please understand. Gentlemen, one sec. Mr. Saravanan.
Maximum extent possible.
Mr. Saravanan, please understand.
My friends in Uttar Pradesh to have a whole India. It is up to them to have a Hindi India. The choice is theirs.
Mr. Saravanan, please listen. Don't quote history, sir. I am talking to you about 2017. Please. Saravanan, please hear me out, sir. I know you wanted to read out that part of passage. We have already read that out the last time around when Stalin created this entire ruckus about CBSE syllabus in Tamil Nadu. I have read this passage across and what they have to say. What I'm trying to say is Hindi is not the national language officially. It's not been declared the national language. But that is a fact. But that is a fact. But the other fact is that the most spoken and understood language in the country today is Hindi.
और तमिल मीडियम स्कूल में पढ़ाया. They are trying to hoodwink the other people and exploit their feelings. And allow their own children and grandchildren to study English and Hindi medium school in Mumbai, Delhi and Bangalore.
Okay, that's the point. Saravanan, you can keep circling around it. You can keep circling around it.
Sir, anger is not going to work here.
Explain to me.
It's not going to change our views.
I am going back to my original question to you. And I will take that question to Tara again after this. And Dr. Sinha can also come in. Explain to me, where does the argument about the imposition of Hindi come, or the Rashtra Bhasha and the majoritarian argument come, when a signage is trilingual, when a document is bilingual, it has your language, it has your local language. Why is that a problem? For years now, in Mumbai, our local trains have made the announcement in 3 languages. That's how it works. Nobody has ever had a problem with it. Why should it be in 2017, Saravanan? Have you run out of topics and issues? Is that why you're going back to this? Why are you protesting? Why are you blackening Hindi out of the
फिर तो कहेंगे क्रिकेट मैच की कमेंट्री भी 16 लैंग्वेजेस में आनी चाहिए एक मिनट के लिए.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, Tanvi. That's a good question. See, when in Tamil Nadu, when the signage issues came, we protested. We thought we opposed it as an imposition because the Tamil signs and English signs were blackened out and only Hindi signage was there. That is why we protested. And now in Bangalore, the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has come and made out this is not a central scheme. This is a state scheme, so we don't want Hindi.
Well, you know what? You know what Siddaramaiah's government seems to be doing, and that's exactly the point that political parties are doing in Tamil Nadu and in Karnataka, Tara.
If they are there,
no, Tara, this is what the authorities seem to be suggesting to the media, that in order to prevent any untoward incident.
Why can't they practice diversity?
Saravanan, stop going back to the same argument. This is not about that argument. That is not the argument here. And I just want to take it to the next step, Tara. This is what one of the newspapers reported.
Can I respond to him?
Yes, okay. Go ahead.
Tanvi, can I extend the argument?
No, actually, I'm going to respond to him anyway.
Saravanan.
If I could get a minute uninterrupted, please.
Yes, no, Tara, just hold on a minute. Let Dr. Sinha make his point and then you can also respond. Go ahead. Dr. Sinha first, please.
First, this is the... I think this is very... we are doing disservice to Hindi or Indian languages when we see the dichotomy between the two. There is no dichotomy. If some people don't accept Hindi as an Indian language, I can't help them. Because I have given one example that S.L. Vairappa's novel, Avran, was translated in Hindi. There are umpteen examples like that. India has changed from late 50s to now 2017. People have changed. All over the world, there is not a single university. Most of the important universities, Hindi is taught. In China, there is special classes for Hindi because Hindi has importance all over the world. Now, Hindi has been accepted in the United Nations level. So it is not the question of degrading any language. And you know, no language can suppress Kannada. Kannada is the richest language of India, one of the richest languages of India. And I quoted a committee's report. That committee was formed by this NDA government. Although its report is not in the public. That it has counted Avestha is spoken by a handful of people as a resource language of India. So we people believe in diversities.
Right.
Kindly don't kill diversities. And if Hindi in natural way emerging as a national language, then what's the problem?
Rakeshji, one thing, sir. Let us put out here one fact, that if this government is doing one thing, is not trying to impose one language over the other. It is trying to say, let's speak our languages more than another language. let's speak our local language, let's take pride in our local language, and let's take pride in our official languages. Hindi is one of it, and if it is the most spoken language across the country, let's use it secondary to our local language. Please understand, this is secondary to our local language.
Very important question.
Sir,
no, sir. Sir, this is very important question. I'm answering. Give me 30 seconds. I'm answering. Give me 30 seconds. I think at the primary level, the first language should be mother tongue.
Yes,
not the English,
agree
not
with
the
you.
Hindi.
But that's not the case
mother
today.
tongue should be given importance.
That's
because
not the case today.
All over the world, scientists have proved that.
That's not the case today, unfortunately, sir. Sir, the reality, I have limited time. Rakeshji, you and me are saying the same thing. But fine, I'm going across to Tara. Unfortunately, the fact is today, Tara, that we don't take pride in our local language. Local language is not taught in the schools. Anybody who goes to a Kannada medium in Karnataka, Marathi medium in Maharashtra, Gujarati medium elsewhere, Tamil medium elsewhere, who is sending them and taking pride saying my child studies in Tamil medium or a local language medium and learns Hindi or English as a secondary and a third language? It does not happen. If we don't take pride in our own language, you're going to lose our own culture very soon, because language is the base from where culture develops. Tara, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I want to make a few points, and I'd like some uninterrupted time, please. I'm not interrupting anyone, so I'd like no one to interrupt me. So, number one, the entire panel is confused between free choice consumerism and what a government mandates. And I'm not talking about this government, I'm talking about governments in general, which I shall call states, okay? State mandates are different than consumer choices. Nobody is banning Hindi films in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu. Do you know which is the fastest growing language in Tamil Nadu? Hindi, and has been for decades. Why? Parents are choosing that. Why are Bollywood films so popular in across Andhra Pradesh? Because viewers are choosing that, consumers are choosing that, and this is a free market, and they are welcome to do so, and that is why Hindi has grown from 40% of the people understanding to perhaps 60% or more, and that's a good thing. There is no problem there. People choose what they want to choose, and no one is objecting to that. That's number one. Number two, this is not about language imposition. This is about overreach and a breach of federalism. When it is a state subject, the metro is running in urban Bengaluru, the train is running in Chennai or in Thiruvananthapuram or in some remote village in Karnataka. By having a signboard in Hindi and Kannada only, or Hindi in English, you're basically depriving the local people and people that know one language other than Kannada.
No, we don't differ with you
there. That's not the debate here. You're again talking about what's already happened. And we started this debate by saying we agree with you.
I agree.
No, we agree with you. We agree with you if the regional language, the local language is not present. It is being suppressed. That's not the point of conversation here. The point of conversation here is why should you oppose a third language that so many people use in the year 2017? In the year 2017, in a cosmopolitan city like Bengaluru. Yeah.
One more second of patience. One more second of patience.
Yes, Tara, complete, and then Suman Siraman.
The largest,
let Tara complete,
spoken language is Kannada. The
second, yeah, go ahead. Yes, Tara.
If you want to go by popularity, yes, I am. If you want to go by popularity across India, and maybe 60% or 70%, or you can cook up any number of facts and figures of how many % people speak Hindi, and that's fine. I'm a Hindi speaker myself. But the point is, in Bangalore, Kannada is the largest spoken, the second largest spoken are Tamil and Telugu, and the next is Urdu. So if you want to go by popularity, what is the reason not to include those things and go for Hindi?
Don't reject other panelist objective point of view. I am telling you the Central Institute of Indian Languages, it is an authentic institution. It is placed in Mysore. Intelligibility.
But we're talking about the metro, not the CIEFL.
No. He is talking about which language is spoken and understood more across these people. Now, please, we have three callers. Rakeshji, I have limited time, sir. We've got another debate. We already stretched this debate. Three callers going across to our callers. Akash from Bengaluru, MB Rao and Jay Prakash. Three callers all from Bengaluru. Let's hear them out quickly before we wind up. Akash, yes, Akash.
Hey, good evening, Anand.
Good evening.
Firstly, I would like to point out, Mr. Sinha, that it is not Kannada and it is Kannada. And secondly, let's not, get into the whole debate of, imposition, because nobody is imposing you anything. These are the same people who sit and watch the same Telugu movies or Kannada movies or Tamil movies, which is dubbed in Hindi when it is played on Setmax. All right, they don't have a problem when it is done that way. Okay?
Yeah, got it.
I see, people telling about Dravida Nadu, which is a different concept, which they're trying to divide again with the, the claim that language is being imposed.
Akash, I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you. I got limited time. Thank you for calling in. I'm sorry I had to interrupt you there because you're taking too much of time, eating into the time which we have for the other callers. MB Rao and Jayaprakash. Yes, MB Rao, please.
Yeah, Mr. Narsimhan, good evening.
Good evening.
And you too. Very quickly, 3 points. If at all they want to call it Namma Metro, then if they try to rub off those Hindi things which are written only at the bottom of the particular name, for first in Kannada, second English, third Hindi, then they should call Kannada Metro, number one. Secondly, the President of India has been invited to inaugurate this. It's a damn great insult to the President of India. Come on, it is too much. You are insulting the President of India. You wanted him to inaugurate.
Okay.
He came here to inaugurate. All right, Tanvi. And lastly, Tanvi, it is an insult to all those hundreds of laborers who were a mix of all the population of India.
Absolutely. Well, point taken there, and we believe here that languages should be a tool to unify people. There shouldn't be any kind of resistance, hate, or even criticism for any kind of language. Is Jayaprakash still there?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Okay, very quickly, please. 30 seconds to you. Good evening.
Okay. See, the language signboard, whatever it is only a mode of communication. So we have a lot of temples in Karnataka where we have, signboards in different languages, including Hindi, Tamil, Telugu also. So putting a Hindi signboard is not a, challenge actually. But one thing is that we have to see that the people who are coming from North India, right? They should respect our state culture also and state language also.
Absolutely, sir. We agree with you totally. We always say local language first, primacy, and then the most spoken language across the country, and perhaps the third language should be locally the second most spoken language. We don't even need English actually, frankly. Let's take pride in our languages a little more than what we do as far as English is concerned. I'm sitting here on the Newshour on Times Now and saying that to all our panelists and to our viewers. Thank you very much. Have to wind up. Next debate coming up.